Wonder Woman. It seems like I'm blaming the wrong person for Wonder Woman being bad. Hello everyone, I am Mecca Random 42, the one, the only, the original, your favorite YouTube consumer advocate, Heartbeat. We got some Wonder Woman stuff to talk about today. So you know how I always tend to blame, the studio interference, the studio notes, the studio saying, oh, let's add this, and that's usually where we get a bunch of really, really bad movies. No. Warner Brothers wanted to cut half of the crap that was boring and stupid. I thought that was last minute additions because it was so disjointed and out of place. No, they wanted to actually cut the Themyscira scene, which I'm saying incorrectly because I always do, and Warner Brothers wanted to cut the mall scene. Maybe you don't let some of these directors have 100% creative control unless they're completely proven, because let's face it, with Wonder Woman, the first one, that was just better by comparison. That was a good enough movie. It was probably a solid 7.5 for the first Wonder Woman. Patty Jenkins did not write that. She didn't have as much to do behind the scenes as we might have thought. And yeah, you guys always like to say, oh, you guys make sure you credit Zack Snyder for that one. Fine, we'll give him props for that. We'll credit Zack Snyder for the first Wonder Woman movie for making it, I don't know, it was reasonable, it was halfway watchable. For the second Wonder Woman movie, though, they gave Patty Jenkins so much control. And look what happened. Every 5 minutes, they had to stop and slow it down just to have, what? Drama. And you know why? Maybe they should have actually listened. And this is what's so frustrating to me. I am always anti-studio notes because I always say, what do the studios say? They always want to go with the focus groups. They want to go and pander to the, oh, well, we see this is trending on Twitter. Hey, representation trends on Twitter. So let's market that to these people because we know exactly who's going to watch this movie based on our market research. Maybe they should have listened to the studio because Wonder Woman 1984 is now the lowest rated DC movie in the DCEU, is the lowest rated one on Rotten Tomatoes. The Rotten Tomatoes scores have fallen to the point that the DC film is now the worst rated one in the entire DC. And that's even with all the bots claiming Birds of Prey was so amazing. And it wasn't. It really wasn't. This is the lowest, including what? Suicide. I know that DC has its hardcore fans that love absolutely everything. And they get mad at me because I don't. But this is the lowest rated one. Of course I'm going to keep harping on La Wonder Woman. La Wonder Woman? Oh yes, on La Wonder Woman 84. Your IMDb users, you got a 5.6 as your average for IMDb. Your average 5.6. That's right smack dab in the middle. What did they not hire a bunch of marketing accounts to go out there and bot up the reviews to give it a bunch of false positives and false inflated numbers? Because they do it. We've seen it. They have the little code markings. They'll have brackets and parentheses right there in the reviews when you know that they're fake. And of course there'll be, especially on Rotten Tomatoes, there'll be a brand new account that's only ever reviewed that, and it's always some weird name. It's always like a president name, like A. Lincoln or A. Jackson. It's always a president, or it's always something. And it's just some intern trying to think up names off the top of their head and just going in with new accounts. Most users, approximately 39,000 people who rated Wonder Woman 1984, gave it a 5, 6, or 7 stars. And the score is on par with Green Lantern's 5.5 stars. That is worse by a small margin, but while a DC movie, Green Lantern is not considered DCEU. Yeah, it's not supposed to be part of the little pot. Is it a pot? Not supposed to be a little part of not supposed to be part of the little collection of all these intertwined and interconnected movies. Wonder Woman 84's Rotten Tomatoes score among critics is a little better, but not by much. With 350 reviews counted, Rotten Tomatoes gives the film a score of 61%. They also lost their fresh rating. Good movies don't lose their fresh ratings. And maybe Rotten Tomatoes shouldn't have given a certified fresh so quickly, before the reviews came in. Oh, because they what? Did they lay off that department? Were they part of the, the great cough toilet paper shortage of 2020's layoffs and trimming the fat? Because I've done videos where they have been trimming the fat for a lot of these marketing departments, especially in Disney. Disney does that. I believe I've done one about Warner Brothers as well. So pretty previously stood at 62 for a day or two and has been dropping quickly ever since. Oh, and it even got down to a 43. I've done videos on that one. Director Patty Jenkins and writer Jeff Johns worked on the story and the script, so they shoulder most of the blame for Wonder Woman 84's problems. Reshoots after a bad test screening may too be a culprit. To what degree is uncertain. Well, like I said, they should have probably listened to the studio a little bit more on this one. And maybe listen to us. Maybe listen to people like me. I want a fun superhero movie. I don't want boring. We don't want to be bored out of our skulls just because some people praise the crap out of the really, really boring stuff. You know, there's a time and a place for some of that stuff. And I'm just going to use something that I know I find to be a bit boring. You guys are going to cancel me for this anyway. I'm not a fan of stuff like Blade Runner because I find them to be pretty boring. I like my entertainment to be a little quicker, a little faster, a little brighter, a little more cheery, a little more fun, right? I like, that's just my personal preference. I'm not knocking Blade Runner or any of that stuff, and I know you guys probably are going to cancel me for it anyway. But there's a time and a place for that. And when you're trying to appeal to a hardcore science fiction crowd, you can do that. But when you're trying to appeal to the normies, when you're trying to appeal to me or my mother, like if I were going to take my mother to see Wonder Woman 84 as our Christmas tradition movie, I want to give her something that she's not going to fall asleep in the theater to see. And this is a normie sort of movie. That's the thing with these superhero movies. They cost so much to make. They have to make them appeal to the normie crowd. They have to bring in your casual viewers. They have to bring in the housewives, the soccer moms, the dads, the people who remember the character who like, hey, I saw Wonder Woman in the 70s. I saw the Linda Carter show rerun in the 80s. You know, people like me. That's what they want to appeal to, and you can't appeal to that when you don't know what you're making. Are you making this heavy-handed, be careful what you wish for message? Are you making this thing for kids? Because it's really, really dumbed down for children as well. Are you making a war movie? Because Wonder Woman, the first Wonder Woman movie was a war movie, and it was actually pretty good. It was pretty interesting, until the end, which was way too much CGI and really, but no, there's no life, there's no livelihood, there's no fun. And when I'm there agreeing with people like the Mary freaking Sue, then you know you got a problem on your hands. And here's the thing with superhero movies anyway. Even Warner Brothers and Patty Jenkins were worried about the thing in the first place because female-led superhero movies don't have a lot of viability anyway. You know why? Because women don't want to see themselves represented on screen nearly as much as I think the studios would like to think. You know what? We want a hot guy on screen taking his shirt off who's all muscly and ripped, or we want to see a chick we can cosplay as. We don't want a mishmash of, oh, it's a superhero film, and it's a chick flick, and it's, make up your freaking minds, really. So these, like I said, the female-led superhero movies aren't even that interesting to your normal female audiences. My mother would have had a much better time going in and seeing anything. She probably would have been more interested in seeing the gay Christmas movies that I was watching. No, really, she would probably rather see anything because you have such a small demographic. I mean, the female superheroes are great as side characters. I'm okay with that. They're great as side characters because what are superheroes? Superheroes are male power fantasies. They're male power fantasies for men to aspire to be. That is what you want to see. You don't want to see your own stupid self represented on screen. If I wanted to see that, I would look at my own videos and watch myself in the mirror at all times. I can see myself. You know what I can't see? I can't see myself on screen because my body type will not squeeze into a superhero costume. So anybody who tells you it's about seeing yourself on screen or representation or diversity is only trying to sell you something. It is all a marketing tactic and technique just to separate and categorize and shuffle people into their little marketing groups so they know this consumer is going to like this and they're going to vote this way and they're going to appreciate this and then they're going to want that. And it's all driven by these AI. It's all, everything is driven by an AI. This is why I keep making so many Wonder Woman videos, is because you're gaming an algorithm, or at least you're trying to. Gee, Wonder Woman videos, like, they kind of build and build and build. They do pretty good. So what do? I make more of them. It is not because I want to see myself on screen. I like Wonder Woman enough. Do I need her in a bunch of movies by herself? Not if they're going to be like this. And here we go. According to comicbook.com, Wonder Woman franchise filmmaker Patty Jenkins says Warner Brothers once worried about whether a standalone movie about the DC Comics heroine would be viable because of past female-fronted superhero movies that had failed. 2 days before Jenkins and star Gal Gadot lassoed a blockbuster hit in 2017, the studio behind Batman and Superman franchises envisioned a Sandra Bullock starring Wonder Woman that never materialized. You know, if Sandra Bullock were Wonder Woman, that would have been one movie and it would have been bad. It really would have. There's a reason why, as much as we love Wonder Woman, there's a reason why we didn't have a full-length feature film Wonder Woman until the big height of the superhero craze. And that one, you got lucky. That was a fluke. Like I said, that was good by comparison. It is not that great. I mean, it's decent enough. It is not the best movie I've ever seen by any means. It was good enough, but I don't think it justifies. And I'm only talking about the first one here. The second one, if the second one was the Wonder Woman movie, it was the only Wonder Woman movie we got, I would say, no, shelf the character. We don't care. By 2005, Buffy and Firefly creator Joss Whedon developed a script before leaving the project in 2007. The George Miller directed Justice League Mortal, which would have featured Wonder Woman as a founding member of the Justice League, also failed to get off the ground. And in 2014, after Zack Snyder's Man of Steel launched the DCEU, Breaking Bad director Michelle MacLaren entered into talks to direct Gal Gadot and Wonder Woman. McLaren's involvement was short-lived, and she dropped out months later over creative differences. Shortly afterwards, Warner Brothers hired Jenkins to make her first feature film since 2003's Monster. She hadn't made a movie since 2003, and you let her... Oh, you got lucky. That was a fluke. I told Warner Brothers I wanted to do it in 2004. I met with them about every 2 years between them, and then we finally did it. They were nervous that it's not viable. They were all freaked out by the female superhero films that had failed. The smaller things that had failed. Also, Chris Nolan was making the Dark Knight thing. So I think they were just trying to figure out what they were doing with DC at the time. Oh, they still don't know what they're doing. They keep rebooting it. Anytime they get like an accidental hit, like Joker or like the first Wonder Woman, then they kind of try and do the same thing. Look at the Harley Quinn movie. That one was clear to me that was a response to the Joker movie making $1 billion. And the Joker movie only made $1 billion because it was a good movie and it had good word of mouth and you pissed off the right people by having it succeed. So that was a win-win. According to Jenkins, Warner Brothers developed about 30 scripts before moving forward on the version scripted by Alan Heinberg from a story by Snyder, Heinberg, and Jason Fuchs. Don't know how to pronounce it. There were so many scripts, Jenkins said. I could see the writing on the wall. There was this internal war on every level of what Wonder Woman should be. And that's kind of why the first one, as good as it was, it does feel a little disjointed at times. I think maybe they're right. Maybe there should have been more studio notes or interference. Maybe they should have just not rushed out for a sequel for Wonder Woman so quickly. We didn't need it. We certainly have an oversaturation of superhero movies. I'm not going to be afraid to admit that. I can say there's way too many. So tell me what you guys think in the comment section below. I am Mecha Random 42, and I'll see you guys on the next video, live stream, or wherever. Bye. Thanks for watching. If you liked it, make sure to hit that like button. And if you want to see more, don't forget to subscribe. See you in the next video. Bye!